Okay, this video segment will be about using the micro-Sondes right here. So we're going to be measuring electrical conductivity and pH on each of our soils from our 4 sites. For pH, we always make a slurry, a water soil slurry, and then we measure the pH of the water in the slurry. For electrical conductivity, we can either get a probe where we put it directly into the soil and it measures electrical conductivity, or we can make a slurry and measure the electrical conductivity of that soil water slurry. And the idea is the constituents in the soil that would influence conductivity or pH will dissolve in the water in your soil water slurry, and then you measure those with the micro-Sondes. So the micro-Sondes is this guy right here that I've been pointing to, and he let me show you, has a pH probe, and right here an ISC membrane, that glass bulb, and he has 2 electrodes to measure electrical conductivity. After measuring electrical conductivity, the micro-Sondes can output TDS and salinity. Now, before we go and use this micro-Sondes to measure electrical conductivity or pH in our soils, we need to spot check it, just like we need to do with the other sondes, to make sure it's working accurately, its calibration is accurate, and that we will get good measurements on our soils. I have a pH 7 standard here, the yellow buffer solution, and a conductivity standard that is 1,000 microsiemens per centimeter for us to use for a spot check. So let's go ahead and get started. So I'm going to, my micro-Sondes is already clean and dry. So I'm going to start with pH, and I'm just going to do a little rinse with pH. Just put a little bit in this cup, shake it around, put it in waste. And now I know all my surfaces are all clean and ready for a nice pH, clean pH measurement. So this is our calibration cup for the micro-Sondes, and you may or may not be able to see on this camera since it's not very good close up, but there is a fill line just like with the other sondes we use. And if I get right to that fill line, that's optimal. Okay, and just like with our other sondes, we want to make sure that our electrical conductivity cell is fully immersed. Okay, so it's nicely immersed. Hopefully you could see that. And we're going to wait for it to stabilize. So it might be a little blurry, but you should be able to see this. Right here is a flash. Oh, it was a flashing clock. And when the measurement stabilizes, it turns to a check mark. So now our measurement has stabilized at 6.98. Our pH standard or buffer solution was pH 7. So that's quite a good spot check. And you can input that data into table 4 of our lab and go ahead and complete the table for pH. Now let's go ahead and move on to our conductivity spot check. So I'm going to go ahead and put this pH standard back in its container because it's clean. Remember, we had this discussion For certified methods and professional labs and publishable work, please don't put the standard back. We are only doing it because of budget constraints. Once you use it in almost any other circumstance, you want to toss it because it's no longer considered a valid standard. So now I'm putting some DI water in here, rinsing it off. We've done this with the other sondes before. Getting it all cleaned up. I'm going to do that 3 times. This is number 2. And then we're going to move on to our electrical conductivity, our EC spot test. Okay, number 3. I'm cleaning off the sondes, rinsing it with DI water. Oh, one thing that I didn't note before is that this is micro-Sondes. So now I'm going to dry off the sondes, drying it off. This micro-Sondes does not log data, does not record data for you. That means that you just record it on the sheet yourself. So there's no data logging on this micro-Sondes. So now let's move on to electrical conductivity, EC. Again, this is 1000 microsiemens per centimeter standard. And I'm just going to give this a little rinse, just like we did with the pH. Now I know everything is clean and ready to go for our conductivity spot check. So I'm going to again fill it to the fill line, so that my conductivity cell becomes completely immersed. Good, so my conductivity cell is completely immersed. Hopefully you could see that. One other thing that I did not mention about the micro-Sondes is that it only displays one parameter at a time. We were just looking at pH, so the display is still on pH. Let me go ahead and show you how to change it from pH to conductivity. So there's 2 major differences here from the other sondes you've been used to working with. This only displays one readout at a time, and it also does not log data. But it is nice and simple and small, very portable instrument to use. Okay, so I will try to do this so you can see it. I know the camera is a little bit blurry, but we'll see. I will try my best, and we'll see what we can do. Okay, so we need to change this from pH to conductivity to do our conductivity spot check. So what you need to do is go into the menu, and you get this first screen telling you how to use these buttons within the menu. You use menu to scroll, hold to select, and cal to escape. Now we are inside the menu. It says measurements, settings, temperature set, and reset. We want measurements, so we're going to push hold to select. Now you can see there's 4 measurements we can choose from. They are pH, conductivity, TDS, and salinity. Remember, we're only measuring pH and conductivity, then we're calculating TDS and salinity from some mathematical or empirical algorithms. So we're going to use menu to scroll down to conductivity, hold to select. Now we are in conductivity. Now we just need to push cal to escape back to our measurement window. And now we are back in our measurement window, and we're going to wait for our conductivity value to read and then stabilize. Okay, so now we have a reading, and you could see this clock again waiting for that reading to stabilize. Now if you could see a little more clearly, you would see right in this area the units are listed as microsiemens per centimeter. Now our measurement has stabilized there with a check mark, and our spot check standard is reading 1058, and it is stable. So our conductivity standard was 1000 microsiemens per centimeter, and we read it as 1058 microsiemens per centimeter. So you can go ahead and enter that into table 4, the spot check table of our lab, and complete that table. Now in the next video segment, we'll move on to our actual measurements of conductivity and pH in our soils.